Today's episode of Pop Culture Reference is brought to you by the UWM Professional Cinema Society. We're now accepting new members, and if you want to stop by and join us, you can stop by on Thursdays from 7 to 8 p.m. Where, Seamus?
That's going to be in the third floor of the Union at UWM.
Broadcasting live from a desk full of frog merchandise, this is Pop Culture Reference, your one-stop reference for all things pop culture. I'm your host, Garrett Strother.
I'm also your host, Seamus Connolly.
What's up? I'm a wave. We're talking about The Good Place today.
Yeah, this is our finale Good Place special, and we're going to really dive deep. We just have a couple points of news to get into, and then we're going to be ripping this special extra long episode apart. Let's do news.
So, first, we are going to watch the F9, the Fast Saga trailer. They just announced the posters, the release date, and as of this morning, they dropped a new trailer for the 9th installment in the Fast and the Furious saga.
I hate that it's called that.
Yeah, me too. I immediately when I heard that, it's like they're trying to do a Star Wars story type where they're just gonna like eventually only do like Hobbs and Shaw style, just like pick two characters from the series and put them in a scenario together where they have to like defuse a bomb or something.
I withhold judgment until we do our 9, 10, however many movie Fast and the Furious marathon live stream.
Oh my god.
Oh god, I didn't realize we were doing a live stream
It's
of that.
for charity, Seamus.
What charity would accept that dirty money? Who would hear where that money came from? And
Vin Diesel probably has a charity.
You know, I've heard Vin Diesel is a genuinely like good person to work with and to just be around, and
So we'll donate it to Vin Diesel's charity.
we'll donate it to Vin Diesel's.
To Vin Diesel, personally.
Yeah, his sequel to his D&D movies that he's been trying to make forever, I'm sure.
Poor guy. All right, let's watch this trailer.
Yeah, let's do a live react like the Morbius one. Oh god, I'm already dreading this.
Is this Logan?
Things change.
What is happening here? I'm so lost on this.
I think we're not the target audience for this.
Maybe not.
Are they brothers? Is that what's going on?
Oh, are they brothers?
Oh, I hope so.
Is that supposed to be a big reveal?
Who is that?
Oh my god. Did you recognize who that guy was?
What I just learned was I know nothing about Fast and the
I was
Furious.
about to
Yeah,
say,
right?
I've seen a couple of them, but I'm so lost.
What do they do, like, for a living?
They are thieves.
But no, they're clearly not.
No, I think it started off as thieves,
Yeah,
but
they
now
did.
they're secret agents. They do missions for Kurt Russell, who's like
Yeah,
just like a G-man government person.
Yeah, they're involved with the government somehow.
They got rocket cars in this new one, which is pretty awesome. I didn't hate that. I think it's hilarious that John Cena is supposed to be Vin Diesel's brother.
It's a soap opera.
It's so just each subsequent sequel now just bring in a famous person and just be like, who are they? They're my brother.
I'm also Tom Toretto's brother.
Exactly.
But
Just bring in, every jacked physical actor you can think of and just connect it to just like, he's my cousin, and then just connect it back to family, and that's it.
He's my brother, but you're Michael B. Jordan. Don't think about it.
I completely withhold judgment until we do our
I guess.
giant marathon.
By the end of this, maybe we'll all be big diesel heads. We'll shave our heads and wear like
Is that what
thick silver crucifix
Vin
necklaces.
Diesel fans are called?
Diesel heads? I just made that up, but I think they should be.
Hashtag Dieselheads. You should add us with the hashtag Dieselhead.
I don't know, man. I guess I'm on Garrett's side, I guess, of just I'm gonna withhold until we do the full retrospective and, throw in Hobbs and Shaw and...
Here's what we're going to do. When we do our giant event, we're going to watch that trailer right before we watch all the movies.
Oh my
We're
god,
going to watch
try to
all the
connect
movies.
it
Then we're going to watch the trailer at the end.
and just be like, I understand everything. Like, what's her name at the end of Crystal Skull?
like
What
just
if it-
galaxy brain.
What if it
Exactly.
still doesn't make any sense?
I mean, I assume... If I remember these trailers, I guess. I've never really seen the movies, but what we just watched is every Fast and the Furious trailer.
Yeah.
It's just, they just add in the big gimmick car, the rocket car, or like the last one was like the cars on the tank treads for the, the Arctic or whatever, and they do a couple big just vehicle things that make no sense at all. I don't think any of them really make sense, especially when we get to the point where they transition from car thieves and street racers to like super spies.
Fast 5, continue.
Is that the threshold?
I believe so, which is, I never even saw Fast 5, so.
No, yeah. I got Tokyo Drift and 7 under my belt, and that's it. Weird combo, but that's what I got.
I saw the first 3.
So yeah, you probably have a better understanding than anyone in this room, unless Ricardo, you're like a secret super fan.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
Why does this movie look like it's trying to be Logan, but for Vin Diesel?
Well, it looks like
that
Logan...
kid is gonna die?
No, I think... Ooh, I bet they kill off someone important. It's been 10 movies where they're just like...
Well, has it been 11 movies?
Because Tokyo Drift, it wasn't numbered either.
Not every character makes it.
Oh wait, no, but Fast 5 is the 5th one, including Tokyo Drift. So Tokyo Drift is in the 9.
Wait, what? Did they not have a 3? Or was it not numbered 3?
No, it's... Okay, because the first one was The Fast and the Furious. Then Too Fast, Too Furious.
Right.
Then Tokyo Drift. Then Fast and Furious. Then Fast 5. Then Furious 6. Furious 7. Then Fate of the Furious.
I forgot.
Then Hobbs and Shaw, which is a spin-off, so it's not counted in the numbering system, even though Tokyo Drift is also a spin-off, but it is counted in the numbering system. Then F9, The Fast Saga.
Are we sure we want to do this?
I'm positive I want to do this.
That's a lot of Vin Diesel.
I don't hate Vin Diesel. I think it'll be interesting at least to see the evolution of these movies from 2002 when the first one came out.
So Owen Wilson's gonna be in the Disney Plus Loki show.
That was a shock when we learned it about 30 seconds before recording. I don't know where that's going. Or, you know what, I guess I speculated that it could be like Matt Damon in Ragnarok, where it's just like a funny little
another
cameo.
Frost giant.
I was gonna say, I feel like the big name like Owen Wilson... I feel like they could do less of those. Well, I guess The Mandalorian does those cameos constantly. Maybe it will be something like that.
I have no idea what to expect because I can't picture how Owen Wilson fits in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Me neither, really. But Frost Giant might be an interesting way to do that. Maybe he's his...
Big Blue Owen Wilson.
Yeah, biological family of Loki maybe comes in.
Oh, you're my brother. Wow.
Oh, God. I bet he hates that so much, but... It's the funniest thing to do when talking about Owen Wilson.
At least he's distinctive. At least
That's
he's
true.
got a thing.
What about his brother's got the nose? Or is that still him?
No.
Still him.
His brother's got the,
Luke Wilson looks like if you just put Owen Wilson in like a conventionalized machine, and that makes him entirely uninteresting. So
for some reason he reminds me of Seth Meyers a little bit. Luke Wilson?
Luke Wilson?
It seems like Owen Wilson and Seth Meyers combined a little bit.
There was a glitch.
Like it's The Fly. And they just like both got into the teleporter at once. Moving on.
So The Crown has officially announced that it will end after its 5th season. Their 3rd season was just released on Netflix. The first 2 seasons had Claire Foy as Queen Elizabeth. This next season has... Or the current season, the 3rd season, has Olivia Colman.
I think that's awesome.
And then I don't know when they're going to make the switch, but the last Queen Elizabeth is going to be Imelda Staunton from Harry Potter.
And I was under the impression The Crown followed one Queen Elizabeth throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, it is one Queen Elizabeth.
They just have different people playing?
Yeah, because it's like her whole life. They gotta change it up on the ages,
it starts in the 40s.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get into The Crown. I don't know.
It's really good.
I've been told it's so good, but I just...
Yeah, how much do you really care about royalty, though?
Yeah, I don't want to burden the podcast listeners with my stance on the royal family.
It's very much about the royal family doesn't have a place in contemporary society, so, what are we going to do about that?
I have heard a little bit about, when talking in that show about, the line of succession, when, talking to a child about, all right, for the rest of your life, you are this one position that you can't ever do a lot of things in. But you have no choice, basically. I heard it's a lot of that.
It's really about... The first season, I think, consciously is about the impact of the aftermath of World War II on the monarchy and how World War II changed the world so that the monarchy is simultaneously no longer relevant and a position of comfort for the English people. and then like kind of negotiating that on top of the fact that it's also about young Queen Elizabeth having to take the throne and not being ready to take the throne, whatever.
Oh, maybe when it's all out and I can, binge it, maybe I'll just blast through it a little bit and have some more evidence for my critiques.
John Lithgow plays Winston Churchill.
Damn, that might just be worth it just for that.
He's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
But
right,
yeah,
maybe
I'm excited to see what happens here.
Plus, also, Olivia Colman is an absolute treasure. She won for playing a queen already for the
Favorite.
The Favorite, which was one of my favorites that year. I'm glad to see her coming back. I bet she's gonna do great.
Now it's time for Hell is Other Podcasters, the show where we talk about the final ever episode of The Good Place.
And what an ending it was, gentlemen. It's been a great ride. Feature length, 4 solid seasons. A lot of emotions happening in this last one here. It's we've been talking in these last few weeks about how we could have expected The Good Place to end at, like, any of these last few episodes could have been, like, an entirely satisfying finale. But this last one was just it was so perfect in a lot of ways in terms of finale, where it was very emotional. There's a lot of sadness. They still kept up with their impeccable comedic writing. Like, it's still hilarious, even though it's, like, devastating to watch this ending go down. In my mind, it devastated me a little bit. It was just a lot.
Oh, it was incredibly emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
It went really the way that we kind of suspected it would after last week's revelations involving what's after the afterlife. So there are lots and lots and hundreds of Baramies, if not thousands of Baramies, covered over the course of this episode.
Yeah, one of the time jumps is like a couple thousand Baramies on its own, I think, and then they really kind of muddle the timing in The Good Place a lot in this episode, because it does jump around quite a bit between the different kind of segmented sections of this episode.
We start in Michael's office.
Oh yeah, he's playing the guitar.
Yeah, it's a great. You think it's gonna be a flashback to when he was still torturing them with his tape recorder. This is experiment number 800 and whatever, but he really he's trying to learn the guitar. It's what a timeless being does when they have, a timeless being. They just start to try to pick up things, which is a lot of what we see in the characters in this final episode. It's their, how they're spending their eternities is a lot of just doing things, learning things, trying to, be the best that they can, kind of like how they've been learning this whole time.
And we kind of get to see where everybody's at. Chidi is teaching a huge class on ethics in their house with presumably real-life philosophers who are making cameos.
Right, yes, just like Lisa Kudrow.
Philosophy heads out there who recognize those people on site.
Do you think a lot of, like, philosophy PhDs love this show? Do you think they're just, like, cracking up at everything?
Well, I also think that they hire a lot of actual philosophers to consult.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you need, like, at least 10 people to write Chidi's character accurately, I guess.
But that's a really fun little throwback to the first season.
Yeah,
and you'll notice that there are green doors everywhere, so it's like they can teleport wherever they want, whenever they want.
Yeah, they introduced that in the last episode, I guess, where it was just like you just think about where you want to be and walk through a green door, and I think that's probably just to,
It expedites the process.
Yeah, it keeps things moving when you only have, about an hour total
but
to
also,
tell the
sure,
last
that
one.
makes sense for The Good
Yeah,
Place.
right? That didn't feel out of place in the slightest. That just kind of seems like a Janity afterlife magic thing to have.
It also leads to some really cool wonders throughout the episode.
Totally.
Where you see digital tech is it's not quite as impressive as it would be if I thought it was all practical, but like a lot of really still impressive things of Eleanor walking into her house from Michael's office and then back out the door somewhere else.
Following the characters through the door. Very seamless stuff. It's a good little add-in at the last tail end of the stuff here.
We see Tahani learning carpentry. Well, not learning, having mastered the art of carpentry, having made a chair that Nick Offerman is inspecting.
I still claim it's Ron Swanson.
His name is Nick Offerman in
you
the
tell
credits.
me why it can't be Ron Swanson.
The credits that title him as Nick Offerman.
There's already precedent for crossover.
I think if they wanted to answer that definitively, they would have had her call him Nick Offerman. I do think it's intentionally left for interpretation, because there are so many crossover aspects from the world of The Good Place to the world of Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, I like the characters from Parks and Rec, so that makes me think of what they would be doing in their Good Place, or what their test would be.
I brought up the point of if, Ron is there, why isn't Leslie Knope being a very prominent part of, like, making Good Place things happen? That seems like she would be the ultimate architect,
Maybe she and Ben are just being happy, Seamus.
Well, look at me not letting characters be human. Goddamn. From that,
The Good Place Council, or, well, like, whatever it is now.
Right, yeah.
The Universe Council.
Yeah, it's Michael, Janet, the judge, Sean,
Vicky,
and one other guy who's literally,
dude.
they don't even show his nameplate at all. So he's there. Maybe
he
he's
has
just
a
like,
nameplate?
Yeah, you see like the back of it when they do the wide shot of the room, but you don't ever get to see what his title is.
But it sounds like everything's going really smoothly, and, Vicky has some complaints about the method that the younger demons are using as actors, but it's all going pretty well. Sean is there to rebuke Michael's ideas.
Yeah, you kind of see a little bit of that camaraderie that the last episode had, where he's like trying his very best to be the evil being that he wants to be, but he can't help but like be on Michael's side, like in an unspoken way. He's very verbally, he's never ever for like 30 seconds gonna admit that the new system works well, but you see a little smile on his face.
And then that's when it cuts to our final Good Place title card.
It says The Good Place, the final chapter.
Yep.
They really don't sugarcoat it. There's no getting out of that.
So now we get to see Janet and Jason in bed together in, what is the restaurant called that Jason lives in?
The Wing Dump.
The Wing Dump.
I love the Wing Dump. They set that up too, where everybody gets their dream house, and including Jason, who wants to live in a wing dump. All the stuff with like super advanced Janet and Jason is very sweet. I like seeing them, interact as like two almost non-human characters. I'm including Jason in that because he's just a blob.
He's the most advanced dummy ever to dummy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to see them, be together in that kind of way. And then we jump to Jason spending time with his father, Donkey Doug. Still one of my favorite reveals of that show is that Donkey Doug was his father.
Sitting in the Jaguars stadium playing Madden on the Jumbotron, and Jason plays the perfect game of Madden.
Yeah, he scores like 2,000 points in a single game.
So perfect that he decides I don't even need to be alive anymore
Yeah,
conscious exist.
That winning that perfect Madden game is what convinces him to ultimately walk through the special door into oblivion, which, that clocks out entirely for Jason as a character, is that is his ultimate, in this last episode, they have been in the real Good Place for however many thousands of years, so presumably that was, that's the last thing on his list. He's finally done it. He gathers everyone together, again, the original group, and
Doug Forsett.
And Doug Forsett, yeah. Everyone in the original group, Pillboy makes his appearance. Donkey Doug is there. Everybody you'd really think to see at a farewell party for Jason.
I really thought they were going to get Blake Bortles for the last episode.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That would have been great. But Bortles is a busy man, presumably. I don't know anything about him.
Well, he is playing as Bortles in Madden, so...
Oh, yeah, they do shout him out. That's who he's playing as. We get to see DJ Music. He's doing his DJ Music thing. He brings in his old Dance Resolution. Still love that name. They do a final dance together as a group, and then Jason explains the feeling that he had that like ultimately led him to the decision of going through the door, which I thought was, I don't know. Jason's been weirdly smart and beautifully articulating his points this season, so I guess it shouldn't be that much of a surprise.
But he says that it feels like the air inside his lungs is the same as the air outside his body.
Yeah. I don't know why that hit me so hard. I guess it's just because that character is he's a talk box of nonsense. It's interesting to see him come around with that kind of spiritual talk.
So Janet walks him into the woods where there's a beautiful archway made out of wood, and there's a bench nearby, and she says, take as long as you want, and when you're ready, just walk through. And last thing he wants to do before he walks off into oblivion is give Janet a necklace that he made so that she won't forget him. And it's purple and gold, and it says J and J.
J plus J. Oh, my heart.
But in true Jason fashion, he lost it.
Oh, dip, I lost it. Yeah, that was a great little ender there. That's perfect. Janet explains that because of what she is, even remembering the time that she spent with Jason is on par with spending time with him in real time. So there's no way she could ever forget him regardless, which is very sweet. It's very sweet.
And she leaves him on the bench to walk into oblivion, and that is a wrap on Jason.
Yeah, that really got to me. I knew this episode was going to be a lot of goodbyes, as it's the finale, but, you know, they really do, they hit the heart in every single character that has their goodbye.
Starting with Jason's a tough one.
Yeah, exactly, because he's the goof. He's the goofiest of the group, so to take him out of the equation that early, you kind of know that it's a weepy one. Next up, after Jason, we have... Tahani, that's actually where we get the chair making.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Is after Jason goes to Tahani, where we see her list of, like, I don't even remember the number on her list, but it's like, you know, thousands on thousands of tasks that she wants to complete in her afterlife. You know, mastering woodworking, defusing bombs, learning how to fly helicopters, you know, just like anything that she could have ever wanted to know how to do before she died, after she died. She just wants to get the full menu experience.
And she feels like she's learned everything that she wants to learn. She throws herself a goodbye party and...
resolves her parent issues.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. That's the thing that finally lets her be free, is that the last thing on her list was have one good day with her parents once they get into the good place, and she has thousands of good days.
Her parents go through the system officially, get there with Camilla and her all as kind of a family unit again, but this time, you know, the parents understand what they've done. Like I said, they've gone through the system, so they get that they have been really terrible to both of their children, and they kind of overcompensate in that by, like, really letting them know how much they mean to them. Really getting into the, like, gift giving, hugs, weepy apologies for everything that they did back on Earth. Yeah, there's a jump in time, and Camilla is actually the one who puts the idea in Tahani's head that maybe she's gotten enough. Maybe her parents finally coming back and, you know, making good on everything they ever did wrong to them. That was really the last thing on Tahani's list that she needed to do.
You can go out and be one with the universe, or wait. She doesn't, because there's a twist.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that twist. We kind of had some speculation about who maybe was going to join up on the
becoming
Michael's
an architect
side of things, and Tahani realizes that the last thing she wants to do is learn how to help run the afterlife in Michael fashion, in a way. Yeah, John, you know, crashes Tahani's party for a second just to inform her that he hooked up with Alexander the Great, who is really Alexander the Fine, which I thought was a hilarious joke.
And then he leaves.
He, you know, I'm glad, because they use those three characters that were with Chidi in the, like, however many reboots that was in season 3. They each get their own little
payoff.
Little payoff where you kind of see where they are now. I guess John went through the system. Yeah, like Garrett, like you were saying, on the way to Tahani, you know, going through the government bureaucrat building of the afterlife, we see a television screen of Brett in, like, a prison jumpsuit trying to explain why he thinks it's fine to tell a woman to smile if she genuinely looked better if she smiled, you know?
So that's so he's still going
through
that's
him. Him still being a jerk. I'm glad that we get a little extra terrible joke from him right before the end.
So this is a really nice place for Tahani to be. And then is it already time for Chidi?
Yeah, right after Tahani, she gets her bow tie.
Michael passes off as a gift this bow tie that's Peacock designed. I thought that was a play on the, like, kind of green pantsuit she was wearing in the scene, but Ricardo mentioned that it might have been an NBC thing.
It could have been multiple things.
Could have been anything. Yeah, we really do get into Chidi pretty quick after Tahani finds her place in the Architects.
We learned that he has gotten into, for a few thousand Baramies.
Yeah, this is a good...
He's been into trash literature.
Yeah, garbage books. He holds up the Da Vinci Code, which is very funny.
Suck it, Dan Brown.
I like those movies. I'll never go read the books. I like that we kind of get to see inevitable breakdown of kind of a genius to just be like, well, might as well go on to the worst stuff ever.
Eleanor realizes that Chidi's behavior, his serenity, his reading of this kind of book probably means that he's about ready to go off.
Yeah, and there's a great dinner sequence with all Eleanor's past friends who were horrible in those flashbacks. We get Chidi's friend who
was there when the air conditioner
yeah,
fell
who was
on
there
him.
when he died, actually. Simone from the Soul Squad is there. Kind of a... Yeah, I guess it's the afterlife. You live infinite. I'm sure it wouldn't be that weird.
I'm sure the betterment process
Yeah, exactly.
helps you feel good about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just like kind of a big, fun dinner together, and afterward, Chidi's, acting very, I guess, content is the word I would put. Just very calm, and, Eleanor can sense that maybe he's ready to walk through the door, even though she's not, which is pretty scary, I guess.
So Eleanor whisks, with the help of Janet, Chidi away off to the Acropolis and, just all of Athens in Greece.
She makes sure that it's not... I like how Janet asks if Eleanor wants it to be in its original glory, but she specifically makes sure that it's... What does she say? It's like the first time... In college, with the first time Chidi fell in love with it. That's how exactly she wanted it, and kind of seems like it's working for a little bit when they get there. They really nerd out on philosophy now that Eleanor has kind of become a part of that world as well.
And then when it seems like Chidi's like, okay, ready to go home, she's like, no, the trip's not over yet. And Janet takes them to Paris, which is apparently Chidi's favorite city.
Also where he grew up, apparently?
Is that what he said?
Well, no, he's French.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, like in the original... In the pilot, he, explains that he's speaking French, but everything is translated. And there is a scene where they're in Paris where he tells Eleanor that he wants to go walk around in his childhood neighborhood to see what it's like. So, it's really trying to play on Chidi's past, his feelings, everything. She's basically just trying to convince him that there's still enough to do, that it would be worth it to stay there with her.
And he agrees.
Yeah, they get to the bridge. She breaks down. They open up to each other about how Chidi has had that feeling that Jason described for a long time now, which
presumably is when he started reading trash books.
Yeah, maybe that's how that starts there. But yeah, Eleanor kind of breaks down and begs him to stay with her, that she's not ready for him to leave, that
because she was alone her whole life on Earth, and then she pretended that that's what she liked, but she really didn't. Chidi's who she wants to be with, and
yeah, it kind of seems like it's resolved for a second. He kind of agrees pretty easily to stick around. To he's just like, yeah, never mind, I'll stay. He doesn't even shed a tear in that scene.
But then later, when they go to dinner, Eleanor agrees that it's selfish for her to ask him to stay, and says that he should go if he wants to.
Boy. Ricardo, did you cry at this episode?
I didn't, there were no tears, but I did just, oh man, this is really sad. This is a beautiful, emotional moment. This is just a great finale after this arc, but it's a good moment of television.
This Chidi one got me. It made me cry, man. I don't cry at television often. A movie will get me from time to time, but a television show rarely will get me that emotional. Because we cut over after this dinner where Eleanor kind of agrees to all this big goodbye. We get this beautiful kind of montage of Michael, Eleanor, Chidi, and Janet just sharing a bottle of wine and laughing together and reminiscing about all the stuff.
It was surprising to me that Tahani wouldn't come back for that, since she is still in the afterlife.
I forgot.
She's
about
resolved.
that.
Go watch the Tahani spin-off show if you want more Tahani.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she can't go back.
That's interesting.
Maybe because Eleanor does visit her at some point later in this episode in the bureaucrat government building, but maybe there's just some bar for her to not be able to go back to the old neighborhood. I don't know. They end up back on that love seat looking out over the sunset like they did on their first actual night in the good place. Man, yeah. They really break it down in this beautiful Buddhist metaphor when she asks him about what is it going to be like when he walks through the door. And I don't know. I'm probably going to remember that for a long time.
What is the metaphor, Seamus?
Chidi explains about when you see a wave on the ocean and you know what it is and you can measure it and you can, tell how tall it is and what happens when light goes through it, and that when the wave crashes on the beach, it's still the water in the wave doesn't go away. It's just, how did he say it? The wave was just a different way for the water to be for a while. And that returning to the ocean isn't it being gone, it's just returning to where it belongs, and to maybe one day take a different form or not, or, you know, kind of leaving that last part up to just reintegrating with the universe. That got me pretty deep as well.
And at the end, Eleanor asks him if he'll say goodbye to her in that moment, so that when she wakes up in the morning, he'll already be gone.
I think that's what broke the dam for me. When she asks that just was so heartbreaking to hear. Good God, that wasn't like, I wasn't like blubbering or anything, but it was more than welling up. It was like tears streaming. It wasn't just a well up.
No, I had a couple of little boys coming down out of my eyes.
Yeah, that's real sad. But then they just slap us in the face with the joke that he left her a sexy,
calendar.
cheaty calendar. one full Jeremy Bearimy, it says, and it's just like, he's in sexy mailman and like sexy philosopher pictures. It's very funny and in such a sad, genuine moment.
And we get to see him go off with Janet, just like Jason did.
Yeah, and he doesn't really take any of the time on the bench. He is very resolved in his decision, and he strolls through that threshold with confidence.
Yeah, which is great. End of that character. We're given the option to. Everyone gets like to sit on this bench and kind of go over it and like kind of deliberate. He's just like, nope, immediately.
He's done it.
Yep.
He no more
goes into the no thinking about it.
Exactly.
Done.
That's the ultimate way to show that this character is where it needs to be. It's evolved immensely from the jittery stomach ache that was in the first season. But then, oh dip! What happens next?
It's Jason, baby.
Jason pokes his head out of the freaking redwoods.
He's alive.
He's been there since Janet dropped him off.
For hundreds of Baramies.
Yeah, thousands of
Baramies.
Baramies, I think is what Janet says, is that, that he he said he thought he lost the necklace, but it was actually just in his other pants pocket, and that he wanted to wait for her at the door to give it to her in person, wherein he describes his process to becoming an actual monk, which he...
Yeah, just waiting around for Janet to come back, just with his own thoughts.
Yeah, he's just like, I would just quiet my mind, close my eyes, listen to the world, and think about, everything until everything was nothing. And it's a great last joke of Janet's like, oh, so like a monk. He's like, well, what do you mean? I don't understand. Once again, coming beautifully full circle.
He runs off into the gate. I don't know why the line, it's like, hey, Cheaty, wait up, is so funny to me,
No,
and I think it's
wonderful.
super endearing, and I love that line so much.
I think that's hilarious, just because he's still somehow, from being where he started to being part of the team that recreated the afterlife, he still just doesn't get it. He's just there.
I like the idea that there's a wisdom in that there is.
Yeah, there is, because
a
like Cheaty said with the
transcendence
wave,
of their
they're gonna
relationship.
meet again somehow.
That is a good point. I like that. God, that's,
I think Jason
nice.
was my favorite part of this episode.
He's great. I was about to say, he might even be my favorite part of the series.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's so good.
MVP for me in this, and just for the whole series, is probably just Ted Danson, Michael.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Michael, especially, I think season 2, Michael is
peak
pretty
Michael,
hard to beat.
where he's just trying to learn how to be not terrible. That's pretty great. Oh man, yeah. So that's
Cheaty
3
and Jason
down.
gone just together in an instant.
Yeah. Those 2 are gone. Tahani is doing her own afterlife thing.
Eleanor tries to tell herself she's ready, but she's not. She gets all the way to the door.
Yeah.
And says, no, I'm not ready, and decides that her last mission is Mindy St. Clair.
Love her. I'm glad she got her time in the sun down at the end, because she goes back, we do all the Mindy St. Clair bits, the warm beer, the Cannonball Run 2 VHS. Derek comes back.
Yes, it's my favorite joke of the episode.
Why don't you explain what happened to Derek?
Derek has been rebooted by Mindy so many times that he's just evolved to become one with the universe.
Yeah, he said like the thermodynamic destruction of the universe and the point in which he was created are now the same moment in the universe or something.
He's a fixed point in space.
Oh yeah, he's a fixed point in space, but he also in himself contains space. He's a giant purple head, and rotating around it
Is
are
martini
smaller
glasses.
heads in martini glasses.
Well,
a great callback.
I think that's the logical endpoint for Derek's martini glass full of whatever, is Derek has a martini glass full of himself.
That's perfect, I think. Yeah, he's just like the ultimate being of knowledge, and Mindy Sinclair is just like, annoyed with him, like she
Just
usually
reboots
is.
him casually
Reboots him
again.
I would love to have seen him pop back up to see his evolution again, but Derek's done. That's the last we see of Derek. Eleanor convinces Mindy Sinclair through identifying with her and opening up that she sees her as a version of Eleanor that never got to go through the system.
The worst case scenario.
Which Mindy Sinclair does not even take offense to. She kind of understands that she's a cocaine masturbation monster, and they kind of bond over that actually in this moment. And she's a little worried about, who would be designing her test, but that's where Eleanor takes her to Tahani, puts her mind at ease that when she does decide to go through the system, that there will be someone that knows her, somebody that isn't going to try, it's not another bad place, good place, original test. It's somebody who's going to take care of her personally. And that's when she expresses her appreciation for feeling cared for by Eleanor and the rest of the gang. And that, I really felt that was special, because she's been like the worst ever this series, and she really does finally come around a little bit.
I love Tahani's architect outfit. Just
me too.
Pantsuit with the bow tie.
It's very Michael, and it works on her.
But it's also very Tahani.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's both.
Now I'm just kind of wanting that.
I want that spin-off,
dude. We'll see what NBC does. But yeah, she leaves Mindy St. Clair, and with her own knowledge that she's saved one last person. Eleanor feels like she's completed her final mission to get the last straggler into the system. She returns to the Redwood Forest with Janet, and then Michael shows up. Michael pops up and tries to run through the doorway.
He's been essentially fired. The judge is like,
well, there's just no more job for him to do. Yeah. As the judge comes out in a Dylan Panthers t-shirt from Friday Night Lights.
I love that. Yeah, he's basically just the same as everybody else. He's done what he can. There's nothing else. His system runs perfectly. There's just nothing for him to do.
So he tries to kill himself.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what everybody's really doing. And
but
he arrogantly...
he's not in the right headspace, as Eleanor clearly points out, to go through yet.
Which I love. He's like, I felt the calm or whatever. Just let me go. Come on, let's go. Let's do it.
That's pretty great. And of course it doesn't work. He goes through, it's not working. And then they come up with a little scheme for Michael personally. They kind of calm him down after he tries to jump on her back to piggyback into the afterworld.
Which is a great bit. It's like, come on, we can trick it. Just let me get on top of
trick the system here. And Eleanor goes to the judge,
who is a podcaster now, or not podcaster,
who loves podcasts
super into
now.
podcasts now.
Judge, hit us up.
Yeah, what up, Maya Rudolph? Come be a guest on our show
next week, ladies and gentlemen. Maya Rudolph is on the program.
Oh, if only. But yeah, he convinces the judge to allow Michael to go to Earth and live out life as a human being. What he's basically been fascinated with since the very first season is life on Earth, being a human, how does it all work? And they allow him to take a portal back after giving a final real frog to our boy at the passport station to Earth. I love
that Frog Guy has an arc.
Yeah, Frog Guy has an arc. In this episode even, he loves all the frogs, then he's unsure about all the frogs, and then he gets a real frog, and he's super excited about it, and I love that.
Frog Guy spin-off show.
Oh, go to hell, Jesus.
We already did.
Michael and Janet, right before Michael goes to Earth, have a very, very sweet moment together. Kind of like father-daughter, almost like mother and son, somewhat siblings almost. It's
a little bit like one of them's going off to college, but it's unclear which one of them is the one that's going off to college.
Exactly. Janet is giving all this human advice, like to not buy insurance for rental cars because it's a scam. And
so you've got blood now. You gotta.
Like
stuff that goes along with that. You should probably figure that out.
And then Michael walks through the portal, one-way trip into being a human being.
Thus the origins of Ted Danson.
I was going to say, I almost thought they were going to do like a Sam Malone, like that was
his
origin.
He looks into the ID that's in his wallet. I guess I'm Sam Malone now.
Ex-baseball player, huh? Huh, weird, sure. But, that would have been a little insane. They already, made him a bartender in that one episode. Yeah, I was going to say. Then all that's left is our girl.
She and Janet talk about what they imagine Michael be doing down on Earth, and we get a nice montage of Michael doing human stuff.
He names his dog Jason, which I thought was very funny.
And we see that he has taken up playing guitar, like learning guitar for real, from a teacher who is Mary Steenburgen, Ted Danson's real-life wife.
God bless her. I thought that was very nice that they had that little short scene together.
And Eleanor, content with all that she's achieved in the afterlife, and having one last margarita with Janet, walks off into oblivion. And we get to see what it looks like.
On a great last piece of dialogue for Eleanor. I love to watch you walk into the doorway at the end of the universe, but I love to watch you leave.
Well, that's what Janet says.
She teaches Janet that phrase to just be like the last thing, which, very on brand. I thought that was very sweet, that kind of like inside relationship that they shared kind of is how they go out on that. And as Eleanor walks through the door, we finally get to see, like, we haven't really seen any effects or anything like that through Jason or Chidi about what happens when you go through the door, but when Eleanor does it, she turns into like a little, like an ember, a little firefly.
Hundreds of embers.
Right, yeah.
She gets Thanos.
Yeah, she kind of dissolves into like little fairy lights. And we follow one specific little fairy light back to Earth.
A piece of her essence, a piece of goodness that lands into a man in an apartment complex who has just thrown a piece of paper away that's not for him, but decides to dig it out of the trash and deliver the mail to its rightful owner, who we see to be Michael.
Michael Reelman.
Oh yeah, his name is Reelman. Yeah, he explains that he just, found this piece of mail, got delivered wrong, and Ted Danson, Michael can feel Eleanor's essence being involved in that interaction, and he shows his great excitement, and, the man delivering the piece of mail doesn't really, care too much. He's about to leave, and take it easy, and then... I'm trying to remember the whole line. Like, with all the love in my body and all the knowledge of the universe, take it sleazy.
And the episode ends.
The door closes.
That's a beautiful way to end. That's like the ultimate
Michael
final
sure
line.
can write a goddamn ending.
I think we should dedicate this podcast to Michael Schur. God bless you, sir. You've made some absolutely quality programming, some of the most touching stories, and I love
almost don't want to say this because I like that was just for us, but all three of us saluted in unison when we were talking about Michael Schur.
I loved this show. I want to rewatch it from one just to...
Absolutely.
I think that would be worth it to go to the... I mean, season one is just a roller coaster, knowing what everything is going to happen. It's going to be a completely different experience.
The Good Place was fantastic, start to finish. Just a brilliant piece of television.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I think I'm going to do a rewatch with Annie.
That's
because she's not seen it.
Oh.
Like any of it?
Any of it.
And she doesn't know the twists? Oh, boy. That's going to be wonderful.
And I also am excited to listen to, Mark Evan Jackson, who plays Sean, has the Good Place podcast.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to that.
Let's cross over.
Oh, I would die to do that.
So I'm excited to finally listen to that because I didn't know about it until last season.
Awesome. We got a couple of extra things to go check out after this. I'm still going to be sad with that void. It's over, and it does feel a little sad, just like the episode, though.
It's not quite the same, but Brooklyn Nine-Nine's coming back.
That's another...
Michael, is it Schur?
Yeah, it's Michael Schur.
Schur, he's involved with that.
Well, I mean, we all just saluted him for 15 minutes in silence. We know how good of a creator he is. Maybe I checked that out a while ago, but I'm not caught up at all. I got to get back on that.
Well, you should get on that.
Definitely.
With the way he writes finales, I can tell the Brooklyn Nine-Nine one's going to destroy me when that inevitably comes.
Oh, God. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear about it.
This was a very special program, I think. The Good Place.
I think so, too.
It's the first of its kind, I think, in that it's a series with a clear end in sight. A clear trajectory that didn't get overbloated, that went exactly as long as it was supposed to, that dealt with incredibly complex themes and characters, and
it's still laugh out loud funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Episode.
It's hard to do both, but I honestly don't even know if I could find a better show that could, check those boxes the way The Good Place did.
It's a magnum opus. It is.
Truly. I might start rewatching it today.
Yeah.
I might go back to one.
Honestly. Well, thank you all so much for listening to Hell's Other Podcasters over the last several weeks. It's been a pleasure to be able to talk about this show.
We're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss The Good Place itself and this segment. I like talking about it with you guys. We'll find something to fill the void, but it won't be the same. It won't be the same.
Until then, take it sleazy. Seamus, where's Riley?
I'm gonna guess Riley is outside the door waiting to jump me when I leave.
Oh, God.
Well, we're not gonna confirm that for you.
Oh, no!
I think our cover, wink,
Where Riley says he is.
ooh, is that he's getting ready for work.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Where does he work again? What's that address? What's that coupon code?
He works at the Jersey Mike's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you go in there while he's working and say, "Where's Riley?" you'll get...
Was it free?
50% off.
I think it's 50% off your sub.
Oh, I was joking.
And if you go in when Riley's not working and you say hashtag where's Riley, they will also ask you to leave. Just like that other joke I did earlier in this
And
podcast.
they'll fire him for giving discounts off to strangers.
Exactly. Oh, Lord. God bless you, Riley. I wonder if you listen. Hit me up if you listen, Riley. I know you won't, but just do it if you can.
It's time for our pop culture reference of the episode. That's a wrap.
This phrase is often thrown around when a film or a television series is completely done filming.
Yes, correct. When production is complete on a film or TV show, that's a wrap on Seamus the movie.
Yeah, something like that. It's a lot of times the final day on production won't be whatever final shot is in the project being worked on. Sometimes they leave that for the last day to add emotionality to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes there will be series wraps on specific characters. So if, like Doug Forsett in this last episode of The Good Place, he got his series wrap with, it's usually meant for just, like, signifying specifically the definitive end of something in production. That's a wrap on the pop culture reference of the
Just
week.
gotta do Rec Center real quick, and we are out of here.
Now it's time to save the rec center. Seamus, what are you recommending this week?
What I have recommended this week is actually a song. Gorillaz just dropped a new single yesterday.
Did they now? Is this a tease? Is there an album coming? Tell me there's an album.
It's actually, they did tease more content soon. There's a music video, it's called Momentary Bliss, featuring Slow Tie and Slaves. It kind of goes back to the Gorillaz' roots of, like, it's still hip-hop influenced, but it's more, like, English road rap style. And there's a fantastic music video that they put out to go with it. It's something called The Song Machine, might be what they're going to be releasing singles under, because it said that there will be more to come. There's a little teaser at the end of the music video for the next music video as well. It's awesome. I highly recommend you check it out.
This better be all lead up to that animated series they've been talking about for years
I hope
now.
so, man. That would be awesome. Momentary Bliss. Check it out.
I've recently been replaying Portal 2.
Oh, a god of
Love
a game.
that game, dude.
I think that someday we'll probably do full episodes talking about both the Portal games
I would
for
love
main
that.
segments, but I just am completely blown away by how elegant the storytelling is, by how funny the jokes are,
Oh, yeah.
and by how both frustrating and incredibly satisfying the mechanics of the game are.
Yeah, I love everything about that game. Like you said, the writing is impeccable. I just love that mechanic. It's fun to play around with the portals.
Yeah. You know, for having a silent protagonist through both of the games, between Stephen Merchant and J.K. Simmons in 2,
yeah.
they're...
Well, let's not leave I forget her name, but the lady that plays
and
GLaDOS.
GLaDOS, of course. All three of them together as, like... They're all really, like, robot... Or I guess Cave Johnson's, like, you get his voice recording memos as well, but they're...
Those are
like,
fully formed characters.
yeah, they're unalive in the game, but so alive in the writing and
I
the
think
dialogue.
GLaDOS might be one of the best antagonists in gaming.
I definitely agree. I mean, also with 2, Portal 1 is very, pretty straightforward. Portal 2's got some twists and turns in there, baby.
It really does.
First time I played that, I didn't really see where it was going, but it's a hell of a ride.
Yeah, we're gonna deep dive on that.
Yeah,
Check it out
spoilers.
any way you can. It's not super long.
No, you
Yeah,
can,
Portal 2 you can knock out pretty
race through
quick.
that. Oh, good rec center. Ricardo, what do you got on the dock?
I'm gonna keep going with accessibility. Here's a thing you can watch for free on YouTube. Check out Aquafina is Nora from Queens, her new Comedy Central original series. The pilot is for free on YouTube. Check it out. Support your girl. She's very funny.
I've been hearing really good things.
And I truly like Awkwafina as an actor, so check that out.
That wraps us up for this episode. We can't wait to see you guys next week when we talk about the Oscars.
Take it sleazy, everybody. Take it sleazy.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.